I really did. I remember as a little 13-year-old, I think it was 1950, and the communists came down from the north into what country? Korea. And I thought those were bad people, and I began to read what little I could as a 13-year-old, and there wasn't a lot out there. And so I went down a year later as a 14-year-old, and I remember I got my Social Security card, and I went down to the Civil Defense Office and said, I want to do something for my country, and they said, we have radiological monitor openings, and I said, that's just what I want to be, a radiological monitor. Didn't know what the heck it was. And I said, what do they do? And they said, we'll give you a little machine. If they ever drop a bomb, you come in the office and you go out and monitor the radiology. So I got a card, never got trained, never did anything after that, but I was fighting for my country as a 14-year-old. I went to college at the University of Iowa and played football there. And one of the trainers at the college, one of the team doctors at the college, was treating a woman who was in an iron lung, and she used to come to the games, and the fellows on the team would go to see her in the hospital. And it was through her we met the former anti-communist treasurer of Hungary. And he scooted out of Hungary right before the Russians went in there and asked for a peace meeting with the rebel leader, and then he was never seen again, and then the Hungarian communists were in complete control. And I really got a different sense of things from them. I mean, later went on to the Los Angeles Police Department. I became a Russian interpreter, translator for LAPD. Now that wasn't a full-time position because there weren't a lot of Russians coming into LA, although we did get Russian sailors on other country vessels. So, along with that, as I began my work in the police department, I kept my eyes open for communists and talked to lots of communists. I was a bookmaking investigator and in the black area of LA, and I'd talk to those bookmakers because we were all friends. If we caught them making book, they went to jail. If they were smarter that day, they didn't go to jail. And I asked them to point out some communists and ask them if they wanted to talk to me, not as a police officer, but as someone interested in that, and talked to lots and lots of communists. I went to the academy and was a law instructor at the academy. And one day my boss said, hey, I want you to work with this guy. He's coming in. He's been on the department for 21 years, and he needs to qualify with the state of California as a police officer. So anyway, I got to know, I'll call him Bill, got to know Bill very well. He was sworn in the back seat of a taxi cab by the chief of police, Bill Parker. And he went on to be number 2 man in the Communist Party USA as a LA police officer. I had him do a lot more talking than I did, and learned and confirmed many things regarding communists. When I was a blue suiter, meaning a field patrol officer in '67, I worked at, I was sent to Century City to work the Communist Parade that day. Was there. President Johnson was speaking. The parade went left real fast, and we moved in, and that was the end of it. We were standing out there when there were 200 of us on the visible line, and we looked at that crowd of about 15,000 people, and I turned to a sergeant and said, what are we supposed to do? Are we the probable cause for somebody to do something serious? And he said, well, the Secret Service is there, and they said you are their probable cause. No one will get to the president. And they had, if you know, the Secret Service had some heavy armament there. we also had some surprises, brought about 500 other officers up out of the hotel, and it stopped the communists for a little bit. It was parade permit by communists, it was for communists, and people were not hurt. As I was writing this book, I sent in my money and got this little book. It's called Day of Protest, Night of Violence. It's written by one of my favorite organizations, the ACLU. It's totally a lie based upon what they put in it themselves. They refute everything they say. They had 8 photographers out there and could never get a picture of any of this brutality they alleged, which, you know, got your own 8 photographers, you couldn't find one person hit. They set up one in here, and for reasons in the book, it's proven to be false. That's the ACLU. They have been that way since they started in 1917 as a communist organization. We're run by a communist board and a communist executive director up to 1950, when things would get a little tight on communists. The legislature of the state of New York called them a communist front. They have not changed. They are against free America. I had a chance to go over, and I've been to other countries, and consult to the militia. This was after the fall of the Soviet Union, not prior to it. Did that. Developed a friend over there, a lieutenant colonel who was a detective. I mean, you think a lieutenant colonel, he must be pretty high up. No, you keep getting the ranks as you go up in years, but you're down there doing the bottom work. He had nobody but he and his partner that they would control each other. The other was a lieutenant colonel too. Anyway, got some good assistance and insights there. I want to get into Bolshevism, which is the real basis for everything that I'm going to talk about. It's going to be, you're going to understand that Bolshevism is not an ideology. It is not ideological at all. Bolshevism is tactical. Bolsheviks are Marxist-Leninist. It should be Leninist-Marxist because they're different than Marx's pure communists. And they are communists. But they're the catalyst. Their Bolsheviks are how things get going. And so that's the next part that we're going to be getting into.